Our Lady, in numerous of her most recent apparitions, has asked us to fast. And not just to fast from meat, not just to fast during Lent, not just to fast on Fridays, but to fast. She's even encouraged at times Wednesdays and Fridays during the week. 2 whole days during the week. Doesn't matter if it's Lent or not. Can you imagine that? And most recently, the apparition I always focus on is Fatima. And I was talking earlier, what is kindness, the virtue of kindness? And we're talking about how St. Thomas Aquinas said, the greatest kindness one can render to any man consists of leading him from error to truth. Our Lady, to 3 young children at Fatima just over 100 years ago, showed 3 little children hell. And she spoke of the only way that they wouldn't go there and other people would be through intense prayer and fasting. She showed 3 children hell, you guys. And then she asked those 3 children to fast. What are we going to do to take up that mission? Her kindness is telling us the truth. So here are your hacks for intermittent fasting. I really broke this down. We posted a link on social media to the podcast where I talked about how fasting doesn't have to be one or the other for your health or for spiritual reasons. It can be for multiple reasons. I even talked about how I loved it. My husband was sharing with me after he came back from this men's conference a couple months ago, how he was talking with a group and they were talking about fasting. And he said, yeah, I fast because I want to look good for my wife. I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to move. He said, but I fast because it's good and it's challenging for me as a man. But I also fast because we know that fasting combats Satan in our lives. And if anyone knows how to war against Satan, it's the Blessed Virgin Mary from Genesis chapter 3. We've known that was part of her mission. And so how are we going to fast? It's so interesting that there's this non-religious trend in our culture right now of intermittent fasting. And it triggers human growth hormone, which actually builds muscle in your body. It triggers your stem cells to actually heal your body, reduce inflammation. We talked about this last time. Again, the podcast is up. You can go and listen to it. We posted links on Twitter and Facebook. But how do you make that happen? So here are your 5 hacks for intermittent fasting. And let me tell you, intermittent fasting has been my best friend. And no, before I get a dozen emails, I am not intermittent fasting while pregnant. Thank you very much for your concerns for my dieting tactics while pregnant. So hopefully I don't have to respond to those emails now. So here's the deal. Number 1, you have to plan your fast. Fasting is a type of prayer. And if we don't plan our prayer, it's not going to happen. Yes, we can do spontaneous prayer at any point in the day. Yes, sure, you can say, I'll do my morning prayer on my drive to work tomorrow. But if we do not pray, if we do not plan to pray, we are not setting ourselves up to succeed in prayer. We're not taking our faith life seriously. Same with fasting. So number 1, plan your fast. So within that category, there are 2 things. When are you going to fast and why are you going to fast? I can give you my example. Prior to being pregnant, a lot of the time, I'd usually eat between 8 and 5, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Now, if you eat between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., you're done by 5, that's a 15-hour fast. Now, all the recommendations we're hearing is get that 16 hours in. Okay, sure, it's only 15 hours. So what? Maybe your schedule's a little more challenging. Maybe that could be a 9 to 6 fast. Maybe you can do the full 16. I know my husband, he will eat between basically like 8 and 12, and then he fasts from there. But that's really difficult, so we're going to have to talk about another step in that in just a minute, and I'll get to that in a second. So again, plan your fast, when you're going to do it. And you have to know that when you start to kind of plan this timing, it's going to prepare you for those full days of fasting, such as during those liturgical seasons of Lent and Advent when we're actually called to fast. Although, the church has loosened up the fasting, guidelines, we can do more better. This is one of those moments we can. It's possible. Let me tell you, I was one of those people who I struggled with hypoglycemia. I struggled with food and like making sure that my blood sugar stayed balanced. And so I thought, you know what? Yeah, priest told me you have a reason. You don't have to fast. Well, actually, I learned something. This takes me to step number 2. You have to plan what you eat before fasting, because what you eat before you fast really does matter, and it's going to help set you up for success. And I'm not a nutritionist. I could tell you a lot about nutrition. I'd be happy to. Just ask my family. I annoy the heck out of them. But veggies, they really matter. Getting your fibers, vitamins, and minerals so that you have what you need. Proteins are so important. And as you hear with a ketogenic diet, which goes hand in hand with intermittent fasting, we got to get those ketones up. We've got to start burning our fat rather than just operating off of carbs, right, for energy. Because that's part of what helps. So you've got to get those healthy fats in. I'm not talking bacon and cream cheese. I'm talking healthy fats, avocado oil, coconut oil, avocados, all these things. And we have to pull away from that sugar. It's killing us slowly, and it's making fasting harder, because then we're hungry for the sugar that we're not feeding ourselves. But if we were working toward a ketogenic diet, we'd already have the fat in our bodies to help us to last during the fasting. So number 3 is learn not to snack. Ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, stop snacking. Stop buying snacks. Stop eating after the time you're saying you're going to eat. Just stop snacking. Offer it up. There's your why. Number 4, focus on your intention and have your set prayer time. This allows you to be purposeful. Number 5, when you fast, you got to know when it's going to end, and you need to know what your obstacles are. Maybe that's a person. Maybe that's emotionally draining situations, or maybe it's too much exertion. Know what will make it impossible for you to fast, and don't fast on that day. Pick another day.